Peacock.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, because we got opinions.
Well, look, we've been talking about these housewives, but let's get into some new seasons of these housewives. So we have the Beverly Hills one, which has now brought Anne Marie. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yes. Back to the Real Housewives. The Beverly Hills franchise has added a new face, another black face, Anne-Marie Wiley, who's married to ex-NFL player Marcellus Wiley. And this has been an interesting addition. What do you feel about Anne-Marie, Jeffrey?
So Anne-Marie, I'm liking her now after all the stuff that's happened recently. Mm-hmm. But she's just come up and trying to give you too much and trying to be too familiar. And it's almost like she's this girl who's trying to fit in the wrong way.
I was feeling the same. I was like, you're doing too much. Ease into it. Mm-hmm. So the reason why we said she was doing too much, so she was coming hard for my poor little Southern belle. Sutton. She came hard. Sutton says she got some esophageal issue, and then Anne-Marie, who's a nurse,
a nurse anesthesiologist, right?
She was like, oh, tell me more about it. And she was like, well, if you have that, you can't be drinking, and you can't do this, can't do that. Now Sutton's like, hold up, what you're not going to do is tell me what I can and cannot do, and you are not my doctor. Mm-hmm. So she kept trying to insert herself into conversations about Sutton's health, and it just was falling flat.
Yeah. So imagine at every conversation that they had, she would say, oh my gosh, I just can't stop thinking about her and saying that she can't swallow, and as a doctor, and as this, and as that. So you were holding on to someone, and because of something that they said, she's making it the most important thing in her life. The dumbest, like you're saying, that's just the dumbest shit for you to latch on.
Yeah. It just seemed like she was looking for the weakest link in the crew.
Yeah.
And thought it was Sutton, and Sutton ain't the weakest link in the crew. Sutton is the one who gonna get some shit started and keep the shit going.
With everybody.
So it was like, wrong person to choose, but whatever. They got over that hump. Now they're in Spain.
And first of all, she got into it with Crystal. So Crystal is usually kind of quiet. The only thing that Crystal really had drama with was Sutton. And one time Sutton came into her room and she was half naked. And so she has body image issues. And so she was very upset and she felt violated and she used all these strong words. And so there was issues, but then they finally got over it, right? Mm-hmm. So then Crystal kind of maybe got over it. They didn't know what was going on because they were going up and down in the mountains. And so anyway, long story short, that she had high blood pressure. She never told anybody she had high blood pressure, and so her blood pressure went so high. And then Anne-Marie wasn't doing nothing from what we can see except for comforting her. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anybody could have done what Anne-Marie. She was like, I'm so happy that if Anne-Marie was there, I don't know. And I'm like, girl, Anne-Marie didn't do anything really.
Unless they edit out what she actually did, which is what I think.
I'm so grateful. And I'm thinking, okay. But anybody with a healthcare background or anybody with a health background, especially if you're a nurse anesthesiologist, of course, you're going to do a triage. Of course, you know to check their, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, and I'm not discounting anything from what she's doing, but I just think that Anne-Marie, yes, it's a great addition, but did we really need her?
That's where I was. But then I understand what Andy was doing. Andy's trying to bring another black face onto the show. So I was happy about that. I'm very much so excited about it. I actually know Anne-Marie. My good friend Tamara is friends. Tamara is actually her sister-in-law. So I was happy to see her on the show. I was like, oh, this is a good look for her. Awesome. But I just felt like she kind of didn't have her footing on right away. It took her a while to get her footing on. And then now they're in Spain, and I feel like she's starting to kind of relax into it. But I feel the reason why I really want to talk about the Housewives is the internet is going crazy, especially social media. They're going crazy. They are saying, let's vote her off the show. She is too aggressive with Sutton. One cartoonist who is known for making these exaggerated caricatures of the Housewives, he made a picture of her, And it was basically a really oversized, overgrown woman with 2 long strings of hair with the part very much so similar to her.
Bitch, I got to see this. You have to send it.
But the problem with it is that she took it to mean that he was making her look like an ape or gorilla. And she was like, how this is so disheartening, because as a Black woman who is very much so healthy, who talks about her fitness, and it's, you know, it's a part of my life. And then for somebody to make this image and make me look like a gorilla, like that is so disheartening.
That's disgusting.
People were saying it was a reach because there was no hair. It was nothing. They didn't darken her skin.
She's very muscular.
He just made her super big
and she's
and
super
muscular.
big up front,
and
top.
The necklace had a steroid droplet on it. So he was being funny
because she is very muscular.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
He
She
was
is
being
super
funny,
muscular.
But it fell flat for her. And if it falls flat for the person you're making a caricature of, then you have to do the right thing, which this guy did. He did remove it, and he issued an apology. And he said, I should have known better, that this image would have made her feel a certain type of way. And at no means was this me being racist or am I a racist. It was just I was doing the caricature. And yes. And so the problem now is the internet is buzzing. All the Housewife fans are still saying it's time for her to get off the show. Well, they really don't want her on the show.
They should give her a chance.
That's how I feel.
Put Nene on there. Hadn't she moved to Hollywood?
It would be a much more interesting show.
I'm not trying to be funny, because when you think of the Beverly Hills Housewives, half of them don't live in Beverly Hills, number one.
Right.
Erica Jane is, bitch, every look that she comes with, she serves constantly.
Constantly.
They put her through the ringer, and nobody puts anybody else through the ringer. I can feel Erica Jane's pain. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I think that I'm tired of seeing I can't think of what's her name.
Garcelle.
Well, Garcelle kind of
Kyle.
And I was gonna say Kelly, but Kyle just bores me with
she's a boring
doing
person.
the same exact thing, and they try to make all the life about her and all this kind of stuff. So Kyle bores me. Garcelle, I'm tired of Garcelle. I'm tired of Garcelle being so fucking sensitive. But anytime somebody says something to her, she can't take it. No matter what it is, she's gonna say, "Well, you can't say this to me. You can't do that." But
I'm gonna come to her defense on that.
Of course you are.
Because
I'm just saying, of course you will. But I'm just saying, Garcelle does a lot, and she pokes the bear a lot. She's in everybody's motherfucking business, and the minute that there's something going on, she wants to talk to you about as a Black person. Well, you also, no offense, you're mostly in the Caucasian world. You married a Caucasian person, and so, but you're acting that everything is going to be equal. If you're on this other side of the track, they're not going to always treat you like the Black people will, or have the same Black sensitivity that you might. And so every time somebody says something, because even though I cannot stand the little girl who Garcelle got into it with,
what's her name? Dorit, yeah.
Even though I don't really like Dorit, because it's just like she's just so fake with all the labels, and
everything is labels.
Then she had an accent when they first started, like she was trying to be British and all this kind of stuff. No lie. And so then it's like, okay. And so everything for Dorit has to be labeled. And I mean, like, she wants you to know what she has on.
Oh, it's going to be monogrammed.
Right. And so when Dorit said something to her, and she was like, my God.
No, because she said, you were just so aggressive.
And she was.
She wasn't, because aggressive is, I'm in your face and I'm yelling, and she wasn't yelling at the girl. She was assertive.
You see.
She was assertive.
She's struggling to find a word to it.
But it's as a Black woman.
Right. That's why.
Because I've heard this before.
I understand.
I've heard it from another Black woman.
Girl, I've heard about.
You being aggressive. I'm like, I'm being aggressive. Oh, really? How? Because I'm asserting myself and I'm being very direct with you. Oh, so that's being aggressive. Okay. Wow. I thought aggressive meant that like you are physically putting your body and your weight on somebody.
That's physically aggressive.
Yeah, but be careful in how you use your words. Is how I felt.
Well, someone told me that I was being aggressive after somebody called me a nigger, and I'm like, excuse me? That was me being aggressive. I'm just saying.
By saying, excuse me?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
anyway.
So and it's funny that you brought that up because one of my white coworkers asked me about it. She was like, so I saw that episode and I just didn't know that there were certain trigger words in the Black community. And I said, yeah, there are. I said, because I've heard you're aggressive. I've heard you're an angry Black wasn't in it, but you seem
Angry
very
woman,
angry. So the angry woman thing comes up for me.
You're a mean Black bee.
And I'm like, yo, if I'm not walking around like rainbows and sunshine all the time, if I have one day where I'm just sitting there and my resting bitch face is always serving. It's always serving bitch.
I will say this. If somebody was to tell you, oh, why don't you smile? Even if they don't know you, and it just happens to be that one day, you're like, why I gotta smile? I don't think that person is coming for you at that moment. You know what I'm saying? That person doesn't even know that maybe you smile a million times. But the comeback from the person who's not smiling doesn't have to be so harsh.
I get what you're saying.
Does that make sense? Because they're not saying, because it's just a one and a thing. They don't know you from Adam. They're just saying, oh, girl, smile. Do you know what I'm saying?
And Dorit didn't understand that the word aggressive is a trigger word for Black women.
Okay, but every season, Dorit has something that somebody has said the trigger word.
Oh, that she has said something that's triggered somebody else?
No, somebody has said something.
Oh, that's triggered
she's
her.
saying, well, you don't understand. I just feel like I'm isolated. Now,
Well, she has Anne-Marie now, which is why I'm happy that Anne-Marie is on the show. So then we can have the duality of two Black women.
Right.
And maybe the other Black woman would step in and be like, hey, well, it's not all Black women feel that way or whatever.
Right.
So
and then also when God damn it, I forgot my little point that I was gonna make. Keep talking. We're talking about them.
Yeah.
And I was
it's
thinking about the two
about
Black women.
Yeah,
being
but I think it's
aggressive.
always nice to have another
ally.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was happy about getting another cast member of color on the show, which I was really excited about. I just want her to find her footing if she decides to stay on the show. Hell, we don't even know if she wants to stay on the show or if Andy's going to be like, pull the plug. I hope not. I just think that this franchise to me is kind of losing its legs. It's not like Potomac. Well, Potomac's losing its legs too.
I heard a lot of their ones that they're doing like revamping the whole cast and everything.
Because it's necessary. Like the New York cast was totally revamped this
But it
season.
was good.
And I enjoyed it. It
I,
was fresh.
But the thing that I think that happens is you get to see so much and it just gets boring after a while.
Repetitive.
And then you start to understand that, okay, this is just made up shit because, okay, they're just doing the storyline.
Yeah.
It's like when you see that what's her name, Shaw, who got sent to prison for fraud.
Oh, Jen Shaw.
So right, you're seeing all these different things that are happening in real time. And these people who are trying to be like above everybody else and thinking you got to show, and it's the reality. We call them reality stars because it really is fake or false reality stars. And so when we're thinking of reality, no, girl, this is not reality. This is fake reality.
Yep.
It's like, speaking of fake reality, we have to talk about another show called with Tammy Roman.
Oh, Tammy coming out
Caught.
with a show?
Caught in the Act.
Ooh, Caught in the Act is
You
my
watched that too,
shit.
bitch. Yes, bitch.
Well, it's a reality?
Ooh,
Caught
baby.
in the Act, Unfaithful. However, but